Thousands of fans of Grammy-nominated rapper and community activist Nipsey Hussle are in a state of shock today. They are mourning the hip-hop star's ultimately and violent death. Nipsey Hussle was murdered in broad daylight outside a clothing store that he owned in South Los Angeles. And he was killed just before he was about to meet with city leaders and the LAPD about reducing gang violence.
He is someone who put our community on the map. People thought that our community was just about violence, and Nipsey put a change to that, and he let them know that even though we're from underprivileged communities of poverty, that we can still become something.
Social media has been flooded with tributes. Here's a tweet from Issa Rae. Watching Nipsey inspired me to invest and own in our communities. He was a solid man who loved his woman, his family, and his community. This hurts. This is a guy who, I just spent my morning reading all about him. Started a STEM program for inner city kids, owned multiple businesses where he hired people in the community, was involved in rebuilding projects, in the South LA area. And he said he grew up in gang culture, but that he turned his life around and tried to help others do the same. And I know your son actually got to meet him in Atlanta at one of his pop-up shops. Can you tell me what that was like for him?
Yo, my son was completely over the moon when he went to Nipsey Hussle's pop-up shop, because the type of guy that Nipsey was, he wanted to press the flesh. He wanted to meet the fans and give that love back to the people that showed him love. Like, my man has done things in the culture that you've never seen done before. He had an album that he was selling for $100 a pop, only made like 1,000 copies of it, and people bought them. Jay-Z, I think, bought 100 copies of it. And that's just, that's amazing. Who else was doing that?